You know, the biggest challenges in medicine often aren't the big dramatic crisis. Sometimes they're the slow, hidden complications that show up years after everyone thinks the problem is totally solved. We're about to dive into a medical story that is a perfect example of that, a modern marvel of surgery, and the quiet, dangerous flaw that came with it.
Okay, take a look at this. This CT scan is where a multi-year journey begins for one patient. You see that bright white area inside the bigger gray circle? Yeah, that is not supposed to be there. That's a leak, and it's the very first clue in what turns out to be a fascinating medical detective story. So, let's get to know our patient. He's a 72-year-old man who came to the doctor with a 58mm abdominal aortic aneurysm. What that means is he had a massive bulge in the largest artery in his body. And let me tell you, that is a ticking time bomb.
So, to put it simply, an AAA is when the wall of your aorta gets weak and just starts to balloon out. And just like that weak spot on an old tire, the real danger here is a rupture, and that's a catastrophic event. So the mission is always to fix it before that can happen.
Luckily, we have an incredibly elegant way to fix this problem these days, a procedure that has totally transformed vascular surgery. But, as we're about to find out, even the most advanced solutions can have a catch.
The procedure is called endovascular aneurysm repair, or EVAR for short. Instead of a huge open surgery, surgeons can guide a fabric-lined stent through the arteries and then deploy it right inside the aneurysm. It's brilliant. It reinforces the artery from the inside out, taking all the pressure off that weakened wall. It's just an amazing piece of engineering.
So why is EVAR so popular? Well, the advantages over traditional open surgery are just crystal clear. We're talking lower mortality, shorter hospital stays, and a much faster recovery. For our 72-year-old patient, it was an absolute no-brainer. The surgery went off without a hitch, and he went home the very next day.
But here's the flaw. Even after you've put that strong new inner tube in the tire, you can still get a leak. The source material we're looking at calls it the Achilles heel of the procedure, and it's called an endoleaks. The most common kind is a type 2 endoleak. Now, this isn't a failure of the stent itself. Instead, what happens is blood finds a back door. Smaller arteries that branch off the aorta, like the lumbar or mesenteric arteries, can actually start feeding blood backwards into that aneurysm sac, slowly pressurizing it all over again.
And this is exactly what happened to our patient. The leak was spotted just 1 month after his successful surgery. But since these leaks are often pretty small and can sometimes even go away on their own, the decision was made to just watch and wait.
And this timeline really shows how things developed. For that first year, everything looked great. The aneurysm size was stable, the leak was there, yeah, but it wasn't causing an immediate problem. But then, at the 3-year mark, a new scan showed the clock was ticking again. The aneurysm was getting bigger.
How much bigger? 8 millimeters. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but in the world of aortic aneurysms, any growth after a repair is a serious warning sign. The pressure was back on.
And this really gets us to the critical question for doctors and patients in this exact situation. When do you stop watching and start intervening? At what point does this slow, subtle leak become a clear and present danger? Well, the answer, according to the guidelines from the Society for Vascular Surgery, is pretty clear. The big red flag is any growth of that aneurysm sac greater than 5 millimeters. Our patient's was 8 millimeters. He was well past that line. It was time to act.
So how do you plug a leak that's coming from these tiny, hard-to-reach backdoor arteries? Well, it takes a whole arsenal of medical ingenuity, and our patient's case shows this off perfectly.
The first attempt was a procedure called transarterial embolisation, and you got to think of this like a special forces mission inside the body. A doctor has to navigate this tiny catheter all the way from the groin through a complex network of arteries to find the specific vessel feeding the leak, in this case the inferior mesenteric artery. And once they're there, they deploy these tiny platinum coils to create a deliberate blockage.
And the results are just striking. On the left, you can see the contrast dye filling up the aneurysm sac. That's the active leak. And on the right, after the procedure, those tiny coils have completely blocked the artery. The leak is gone. For now, it was a success.
For 2 more years, that fix held. But the body is a resilient and very complex system. Other little arteries, the lumbar arteries, basically took over and started feeding the leak again, and the aneurysm started growing. The problem was back.
So this time, a more definitive approach was needed. Doctors performed a laparoscopic, or keyhole surgery.
They went in and physically placed clips on all the potential feeding arteries, the lumbar, the sacral, and the IMA, to shut off all the back doors for good. The procedure worked. The leak was finally truly sealed.
So, what can we take away from this incredible, multi-year medical journey? What are the key lessons we can learn from this hidden leak?
Well, first, let's put this all in perspective. This isn't some rare, out-of-the-blue complication. Type 2 endoleaks happen in about 15% of all EVAR cases. That makes them the most common challenge that surgeons and patients have to face after this procedure.
Okay, so let's just recap the crucial points from this case. First, these leaks are common, but look, most of them are benign. The real danger, as we saw, is when the leak causes that aneurysm sac to grow. That growth is the big warning sign that the whole repair could eventually fail. And that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Lifelong surveillance isn't optional, it is absolutely essential.
This case leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. EVAR is a modern marvel. It saves lives with less pain and a faster recovery. But that elegance comes with a trade-off, the need for constant, lifelong vigilance. It makes you wonder, as our medical fixes become more and more sophisticated, does our personal responsibility to follow up and pay attention for the rest of our lives become more important than ever?